back then, this whole operation with the ERA and the New York Division was a manual operation. Everything, the bulletins got collated and mailed to everyone manually. And this was part of the group that was involved in that. Of course, Mike Glicken was involved, Charlie Akins, Ray Berger, and a whole slew of others. But this get-together was pretty much weekly. Every Monday evening we got together and did work for the New York Division and the ERA. Next. And sometimes we were there so long we actually ate dinner there. There's Jimmy at the end there. Jimmy was one of the bedrocks of the New York Division. He created the database in the early '80s for the New York Division. He got the computer going. Our first computer was an old IBM PC, you know, with the old green screen. And me, Glenn Smith, him, Dave Ross, we would actually type in the bulletin. Next. And this is the classic Jimmy Mattina slide. This is November the 4th, '89. There's the keyboard for the original PC that the New York Division got. That keyboard was where all of the New York Division bulletins were typed in. That's where the database was maintained by Jimmy and others. And he's there with his one of his beers, the Dinkelhocker beer. But let's have a round of applause for Jimmy. Next. All right, we're going to continue. First, we're going to go into the I call it the best of show, but I'm up to about 205,000 slides now, and I basically took about the best 1,000 of them that I could find, and assembled them in subject order and whatnot. Later on, we'll get into geographic areas by alphabetically. Anyway, this is Parkville Junction. That's on the Bay Ridge line. This was a fan trip back in October 18th of '86. Up above is a southbound F train, an R46, number 820, century numbered. That's that engine. It's actually a power pack there just to provide lighting and heating for the train. That was produced in May of 1956. That started life as Louisville and Nashville number 310. The first one of these FAs, that's an FA2, the first one of these FAs went into service in the Long Island Railroad on May 25th, 1971. It was converted by GE in its North Bergen, New Jersey shops. When they first came to the Long Island Railroad, they had their Alco 244 prime movers. Those were removed in 1981, replaced by a 600 horsepower Detroit genset, and finally in '89, this particular engine had a Cummins genset put in together with all the rest of the FAs. Next. Same day. This is at Livonia Junction. Both tracks still exist today, including the Canarsie line, which is on the right. That's number 3 train heading towards New Lots Avenue. That's an R17 on the point, followed by 2 R33s. Next. And this is a 2001 shot upstairs on the Livonia Avenue platform for the Canarsie line. That's a number 1 train, actually, heading towards New Lots. This is December of '01, so that was after September 11th, of course, and the South Ferry branch was closed for about a year. And so the 1 trains were going all the way to New Lots. And of course, that's an R42 on the Canarsie line. Next. Further north at Livonia Junction, we're looking to the north. That's a southbound L train. It's an R30, number 8532 on the point. The stop before this was Sutter Avenue. It's left Sutter Avenue. It's heading into the Livonia Avenue station, which is just over my right shoulder in the picture. Next. Sunnyside Yard. This is September the 3rd, '84. Got an Alco C420, built in August 1968. This was from the last group of them built, numbers 222 to 229. Of course, we got the Redbirds on the 7 line, heading towards Flushing up above. Next. October 10th, 88, this is regular service here. It's an MP15 AC. They were numbered 150 to 172. They operated along with the FA1, the FA2s, and a couple of other F units as power packs for the Long Island Railroad. There's a G38 on the other end of this train. That train is heading towards Hunters Point Avenue to go into service there. And further away, you got another Flushing bound number 7 train at Sunnyside Yard on the other side of Queens Boulevard there. Next. Another fan trip, September 25th, 99, at Richmond Hill. You can't get this anymore, this platform is closed. That started life in February of 1949 as Great Northern number 442. Went to Burlington Northern 4104. Before that, it was with the Spokane, Portland, Seattle. This particular engine was stored in Bridgeton, New Jersey about 10 years ago. I don't know where it is now. This is one of the last 3 FAs removed from service on March 9th, 2000. March 9th, 2000 was the last day that you could possibly get an FA1 or FA2 in service in the Long Island Railroad. Next. August 27th, 91. It's an M1 up above. That's gone now. This is Archer Avenue near 150th Street. Down below, you have a 1986 RTS in its original paint scheme. And that bus is long gone too. Next. June 11th, 95 at Hicksville. That's an N22 that's now NICE today, NICE, run by Veolia, but back then it was still Long Island Bus. It's another M1 up above, 93, 94. Next. Up at QJ Grand Circle, or East 177 Parkchester Station on the number 6. The rebuilt R29 up above with a 1982 RTS down below. If you don't like the RTS, next. You got a TDH 5106, that's one of the TA's museum buses, 1958. You have R29s rebuilt up above. Let's take a look at a similar shot before they were rebuilt, next. The first 2 cars in the number 1 train entering 215th Street up above are what the R29s looked like before rebuilding. Then you got some R21s and 22s. That's Surface Transit number 69. This is at Broadway and 218th Street. It's 1946 TDH 3610. Surface Transit had 35 of these, numbered 50 through 84. Next. Just north of the 125th Street station, you have R62A number 2417, a shot which is impossible to get anymore because that's smack dab in the middle of a 5-car unit now. And plus you have a 1987 RTS on the M104 number 4848. Next. August 15th, 01, on the Williamsburg Bridge, you got an R40 modified running on the J, and you got the 1998 RTS down below. Currently, at this time, there's a walkway over that train right now. This is during the construction of that walkway, so you can't get this shot anymore. And while they were doing that construction, there was a temporary walkway on the southern side of the bridge, and that's how you were able to get this shot. Next. And there's no trains in this one, but 2 Blitz rebuilt buses. The one on the left is from 1973, rebuilt. The one on the right is from 1968, 1970. But actually, it's 1968 now. But anyway, this is what used to run on the Staten Island Express routes. Now it's all over-the-road buses. This is at Western Union International Plaza. It's basically Battery Place. That's Greenwich. That's 1 Broadway over there. Next. August 19th, 06. Another form of transportation in New York. The original Roosevelt Island tramway cars, plus one of the original batch of articulateds. This is at 2nd Avenue and 60th Street. That's New Flyer articulated number 1047. Next. October 4th, 09. Another original 1997 Arctic batch, that's number 1038, plus 2 M2s up above. This is 125th and Park. This is in 2009. Let's go back 25 years earlier. On the other side of the structure, June 29th, 84, next. And you have the lowest numbered 1970 GM fishbowl there. It's on the DX-15, transferred over from the NYCTA running in Mapstoa. And up above you have a set of F-09s with the SEPTA cars from Detroit running up to Poughkeepsie. Now let's go north. Next.
Wow.
This is at the old Dudley Station on the Washington Street elevated. This elevated was up until 1987. This is February 15th, 87, so the elevated has another 2.5 months to go. And down below is RTS 8706. That was one of 90 delivered in 1986, so that bus was pretty new. Next. That's the second RTS Boston ever got. 8400 is up at Seashore. You got 100 buses in 1985, numbered 8400 to 99. And of course, you got the Orange Line cars up above, the Hawker Siddeley cars. There's 120 of those. And that design was actually based on the Path PA3, believe it or not. Next.
Oh.
And with a flyer bus on the Route 22, number 9441, that's a 1982 D901 down below. They had 84 of those, 9400 to 83. And if you want to get a little older, next. We have a D51 flexible. They had 165 of these, numbered 7200 and 7364. Now this is north of New York. Let's go south of New York. And here we have one of the new trolley buses, which can run off wire, together with one of the SEPTA genset engines, number 70, built by National Railway Equipment, delivered in October of 2008. Next. Germantown Depot. The PCC on the left is a 1947 all-electric. There were 100 of these. The highest numbered 75 were GE, and this is a GE one, and the lowest numbered 25 were Westinghouse. The bus is a T6H 5304A. They were numbered 4250 to 4334. It's on the scrap line here. That's why the SEPTA logo is taken out. Next. And now we're going to go to Kennedy Airport. Hop on a Lufthansa 767, actually a 777. And we'll end up in Frankfurt. Next.
Oh.
This is outside the Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof. Now, Frankfurt has two different systems. They have the Straßenbahn, which are the streetcars, and they have the Stadtbahn, which is the U-Bahn, which is runs in the subway and in the central area. Then when it gets out of the central area, it runs on a private right-of-way and on the streets too, but the crossings. Frankfurt is the 5th largest city in Germany with just over 700,000. It's the largest financial center in continental Europe, headquarters for the European Central Bank, the Deutsche Bundesbank, and the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, and is Lufthansa's main hub. Now the trolleys we're looking at here, the one on the left, there's 65 of these. Those are the S-types. They were built by Bombardier from 2003 to 2007. The trolley on the right was delivered in 1995. They're Type Rs. They're built by Duwag and Siemens. The ones on the right were the first 100% low-floor cars delivered for Frankfurt. Next. All right. This is not at the Hauptbahnhof. This is at basically what's called the South Station, or the Südbahnhof, or the Frankfurt am Süd, which is south in German. Now the train on the left is one of their intercity express trains. That's called an Ice-T model, the 411 and 415 class. The 411 class is 7 cars, the 415 class 5 cars. They were delivered from 1999 on up. Now the locomotive on the right actually started life in the Deutsche Reichsbahn in East Germany. That was formerly was a 243 class in East Germany. It was changed over to the 143 class. It was the most successful locomotive ever to come out of East Germany. It was built by a company called LEW Henningsdorf, taken over by AEG, eventually taken over by Bombardier. These were built from 1984 to 1991. About 650 of those were built. They're basically used in lower speed intercity services now. Next. And that's a trolley crossing over the Main River. The nickname for Frankfurt is Manhattan because it's got a lot of tall buildings, as you can see. The bridge is on the left is Frankensteiner Platz. And next. Now the church there, it's not really a church, it's a cathedral. That's St. Bartholomew's Cathedral. There's a lot of history in that. During the end of the Holy Roman Empire, the emperors were basically elected here. The last one was elected there in 1792. He stood in power until 1806 when Napoleon decided to defeat the people in charge of the Holy Roman Empire at the Battle of Austerlitz, and that ended the significance of that church, the cathedral, but as you can see, it's one of the architectural highlights of Frankfurt. Next. And that's on the left side of the bridge. Next. As you can see, they have a lot of wrap cars there. Next. This is the Eisener Steg. It's an iron footbridge constructed from 1868 to 69. And all those are all padlocks there. People come over, couples come here and give their personal vows to each other, and they attach the padlock to the bridge as a symbol of their being bound to one another. And every once in a while, when things break up, you see somebody come over with a bolt cutter. Next. That's on the same bridge that I was taking all those photographs of. The building in the back is the old public library. Written in Latin on the library, it says Litteris Recuperate Libertate Civis, which means in letters recovered a city's freedom, literally. But that's the old public library. And that's the Route 18 crossing over the bridge. Next. Now this is the, this is a Route 21 car, number 233. This is east of Vogelweidstrasse. Next. A lot of Frankfurt was, of course, destroyed in the war, through the bombing, but they rebuilt a lot of the old city. And there are some old sections of Frankfurt, and this is near the City Hall area. That's where most of the older restored buildings are. Next. But most of Frankfurt is very modern. This is typical Frankfurt here. This is on the south side of the Main River. Route 12, car number 255. Next. Route 21 car number 028 at Basler Platz. You can see there's some interesting architecture there. A lot of it was rebuilt after the war. Next. This is just west of the Hauptbahnhof. That's Route 16 with one of the Type R cars. Next. And this is the City Hall area, the Rathaus area. Route 11 passes through here. Next. This is right near the headquarters for the European Central Bank. This is at Willy Brandt Platz. Every Western every city in West Germany has a Willy Brandt Platz. He was the He was the chancellor from 1969 to 1974. He had to resign in 1974 when it was found that one of his close confidants and advisors was actually an East German Stasi agent. But in any case, he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1971 for really pushing reconciliation with Eastern Europe. And he was one of the great politicians in post-World War Germany. Next. And the mayor of Berlin, yes. This is near the Hauptbahnhof. See, there's a big agglomeration of tracks here. Route 21. Oh, the Straßenbahn has 10 lines, 136 stations, and 41.79 route miles. Next. Same area. The 1995 cars. Next. At the Hauptbahnhof station. Next. Same area. Next. This is looking west. The Hauptbahnhof is about a block behind us. Next. South of Baseler Platz, where the Route 12 crosses over the mine. Next. Same bridge. Next. This is by the Südbahnhof, the South Station. It's on the Route 16. The Bombardier cars. Next. This is an interior of car 262, one of the cars you just saw. This is on an early Sunday morning. Otherwise, the cars are always pretty crowded. Next. This is at the Stesaman Ali. This is just across the mine from that bridge we saw before, showing the two different types of cars. Next. Let's take a look at the Stadtbahn or Statebahn or the U-Bahn. These cars were rebuilt for this service. These were originally PT cars. Now they're PTV cars. They're basically P type, and the TV is a Speedwagen or streetcar. Only the U5 runs these type of cars. These are the 700 series and high 600s. These were produced from 1973 to 1978, built by Duvag. They're 27.43 meters long, 2.58 meters wide. And they have just over 50 of these. Now take note of the two different paint schemes. That was the only car of this class that I saw in that paint scheme. As a matter of fact, it was the only car in the entire Stadtbahn that's still in that paint scheme. Everything else is in this blue color, but this teal, blue. But it's really nice in the sunshine. Next. That's an interior one of the 700 series cars from the 1970s. It's number 723. Next. And this is the only car that's not blue. This is leaving Munsterschau. Okay, next. Now these are the classic Frankfurt U-Bahn cars. These are the U2s. Now, the oldest ones are all gone. The 1968 cars are out of service. The oldest ones still in service are the 1970 cars. This is a 1984 car, the 400 to 406. These are the U2Es. The rest of the 300s are all up to 367, the U2Hs, and everything from 368 up are the U2Es. Anyway, this is at the Gwinnerstrasse station. This is on March 24th of this year. All the German shots that you'll see tonight, with the exception of a few later on, we're taking March and April of 2014 on an insane trip through the western part of Germany, hitting about 20 systems. Next, which entails getting up before dawn, and this one was taken about 9:30 at night. This is in the subway section, the U-Bahn section. This is at Alta Oper. This is the oldest U2 car that I saw running, 343. That car was 343 was from 1970. So this is actually the oldest U-Bahn car that I saw. And these are slowly being replaced. This may be out of service as we speak, because they were getting U5s coming in, being delivered while we were there. Next. Okay, these are the 500 series cars. These are the U4s. There are 39 of these. These were delivered in 1994 and 1995, built by Duvag. The U4s, let's see, they only run on the A section of the U-Bahn. The U-Bahn was the stop-on was built in 4 sections, A through D section. The oldest section is the A section, and that's what the U1, U2, and U3 operate on. Next. Some more 500 cars, 500 series cars. You see they run in 3-car sets, but they can run in that. They can run up to 4-car sets. This is entering the Weisserstein station. Next. All right, these are the U5s. There's 2 groups of these. There's the U5 25s and the U5 50s. The U5 25s are 25 meters long. The U5 50s are 50 meters long. Let's see. They have 94 of the 25-meter cars, and they're getting 130 of the 50-meter long cars. I don't know if they're all delivered, but they were being delivered while we were there. The last one is, delivery of these started in 2007. Supposedly the last one's supposed to be delivered in 2017, but I'm not really sure of that. It's going to finally be over. In any case, this is Grunenstrasse on the U7. The U7 and the U4 share right away on this section. Next. And another of the U5 25s. This is at the Lindenbaum station on the U2. You cannot get any U2s on the U2. They don't run in the A section anymore. They only run on the U4 and the U7. Next. This is an interior of a U5, the 25-meter cars. Next. This is out in the sticks. This is on the U9. This is at the Niederössl station. Next. And this is one of the U550s, 4-section cars. The first 4 units, that's all one car, and there's a U525 at the end in red. Next. Okay, on the U6 underground. This is at the Alta Oper station again. The Oper station. Next. And the next time you go to Frankfurt, these might all be gone. These only run on the S8 and the S9. These are the 420 class. These first went to service in 1969. They built them long after that. But the S8 and the S9 is basically the last stronghold of where these cars run. This is at the Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof station, the main station. Next. And all over Germany, you have these little operations. This is the Taunusbahn. It runs from Frankfurt to Brando-Berndorf, distance of 26.1 miles. That's car you're looking at is built by Alstom. It's a Coradia Link 41, delivered in December 2006. Next.
Diesel or electric?
That's a diesel. Next. The 114 class, these were renumbered from the 112 class in 2000. These are built in 1991. These were the first locomotives to be used in both East and West Germany after unification. So these ran both on the Deutsche Reichsbahn and the Deutschbahn. These were built in East Germany by L.E.W. Henningsdorf. Now it's Bombardier. Next. This is on the DB Regio, basically the regional commuter system for medium distances of 1 to 2 hours, maybe even 3-hour runs. These are all over Germany, these double-deck cars, and that's your typical control cab. These are ubiquitous to everywhere in Germany. Next. The 111 class, these are pretty old. These were built from 1974 to 84. There were 227 built, there's 225 left. These only run on 15 kilovolts, 15,000 volts AC catenary. The newer locomotives operate in both 15 and 25, so they can operate internationally. Next. It's another iced tea set at the South Station. Oh, and these only run on 15,000 volts, so you will only see these run within Germany, basically. The iced tea cars. Next. Okay, these are the original ice trains. These were built from 1989 to 1993. They were all rebuilt in 2005 to 2008, except for one set. The 51st set was involved in the Oszustowicz disaster, where basically the middle of the train derailed at 125 miles an hour, and it was not good. But they did rebuild the head end of that train that derailed. Survived, so 40151 is still in service. So a piece of that train is still running. That happened on June 3rd of '98, and then they had to do a quick fix on all these original ice trains. Well, this is at the Baden-Baden Hauptbahnhof. Just give me 1 second. Baden-Baden translates into bathe, basically. It's a famous spa town here with the famous hot springs. The double name officially was applied in 1931 to differentiate itself from Baden-Baden, Baden near Vienna, and there's also a Baden in Switzerland. And Baden-Baden literally means Baden in the state of Baden. It was untouched in World War I and World War II by bombing, so everything downtown is original, and it was the headquarters for the French occupational forces after World War II. Next. Now, in a previous presentation, I showed you the Karlsruhe system, and their tram train system reached Baden-Baden in 1984. It actually goes further south of here, but this is the tram train coming through, and of course those are the Duva cars. Give me 1 second. These are both AC and DC. These are classified as GT8-10Ds. Next. And as you can see, Baden-Baden is still has its old architecture. Everything is original. Nothing had to be rebuilt after either war. Next. And they have a quaint little bus system. It's a Mercedes Citaro bus navigating the narrow streets. Next. And we'll head further south from Baden-Baden, almost to the Swiss border, to Freiburg and Breisgau. Population 230,000. Freiburg basically means free town. It's a free market town. That's how it got its name. It's the hub of the Breisgau region, and they have a pretty interesting tram system with some older cars running. That's one of the old GT8s. They're number 205 to 214, built in 1981 and 1982. Next. This is the second oldest batch. These are the GT8Ns. They have, these are number 221 to 231, and these were built in 1990 and 1991. Next. And of course, one of the original city gates, Martin Store, has a McDonald's within it. No, we did not eat there. This dates to the year 1238. It's known as Martin Store or Martin's Gate. Another GTA 8N car. Next. Another GTA 8N car. This is north of Johannskirch or Johann's Church, translates into. Next. Another one of the GT8 cars, the old cars. They're actually training operators here. The car's not in service. All those people on there are actually in training. Next. This is a car awaiting to be wrapped with some sort of advertisement. That's Martin's Store in the background, Martin's Gate. Next. These are the GT8Z cars. These are number 241 to 266. These are built in 1993 and 1994. The middle 90s tram cars tended to be a little odd looking, trying to get too modern for their own good. But in later designs, they came to be more sensible. Next. So the GT8Z car and the regular city tanks. Next. GT8 and a GT8Z. This is over the Hauptbahnhof. The mouth of the Hauptbahnhof, the south part of it. Next. And the other side of that McDonald's. Next.
Is that a drive-through, Alec?
Yeah.
That was a good one. This is west of Bertoldsbrunnen. Next. And these are their newest cars. These are the Combino advanced cars. These were delivered in 2004. Built by Siemens. Next. And that 290 car is the newest car they had, the Combinos, together with one of the older cars. Next. This is just south of the Hauptbahnhof. Next. And this is just north of the downtown area. That it depopulates pretty quickly. This is about a 10-minute walk from the main train station. Next. They also have this little thing that runs. It's called the Schlossbergbahn. It was a cable car from 1968 to 2006. They ripped out the cable car and installed this. This opened up in 2008. 860 feet long. It climbs 240.5 feet. It's a 1,200 millimeter gauge. All right, now for something completely different. Next. We'll come back home for a little bit before we go back to Germany. I did a walk basically from Pelham all the way to Melrose this past March to photograph the M8s. Now, this is in Mount Vernon. That's a southbound train. We're just south of the station. In years past, this was all covered up with catenary, but now that it's third rail, you can get pretty decent shots. You need to be pretty tall to get these shots, to get shots over fences and whatnot. Well, anyway, that's 9274 Grand Central bound. That's downtown Mount Vernon. Next. Interior of your typical M8, that's 9231. The first one entered service in March 2011. There's going to be 190 married pairs, 25 singles for 405 cars. And if they exercise the last option for another 25 single cars, it'll be 430. 750 volt DC third rail and 12.5K and 25K AC. That pretty much sums them up. Next. This is a northbound train. We're heading further south in Mount Vernon. This is about, I guess about 1,000 feet further south from the last shot. Next. This is looking to the north. It's actually more to the east here. The line goes east-west for a bit once you hit Pelham. And you can see the old catenary towers there. Now there's a reason why there's catenary in Connecticut and third rail in New York. And on June 13th, 1906, the Connecticut Supreme Court deemed that third rail is banned in Connecticut because they thought it was too dangerous due to accidents. And so Westinghouse got involved way back then and created the 11 kilovolt, 25 hertz single phase design. And it was the first time anywhere in the world that catenary was used for high-speed rail. Matter of fact, the London, Brighton, and South Coast Railway used the same triangular catenary that used to be ubiquitous with the New Haven line from Woodlawn to Stamford. They had that running there from London to Brighton from 1909 to 1929 before they converted to a different electric.
Third rail.
The third rail. But anyway, next. This is further south. This is about 3/4 of a mile south of downtown Mount Vernon. You walk along and you look for spaces to get shots like this. It's you can't do it in the winter. You have to do it in late spring or in the summer. Otherwise, the shadows are just overbearing. Next. This is about, I would say, about 3/4 of a mile from the junction with the Harlem line. We're still in Mount Vernon. It's a southbound train. Next. Looking the other way. See, you can still see remnants of the catenary there. But before they put the third rail down here, you couldn't get these shots because the catenary wire would just wipe out the shot of the train pretty much. Next. This is entering Woodlawn itself after it meets up with the Harlem line. Next. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I was waiting for a lot of the M8s to be delivered. Walking down Park Avenue. Basically walk the whole distance of Park Avenue from Fordham all the way down to Melrose. This is looking north from 187th Street. It's a northbound local. Next. This is looking north from 183rd Street. You can see the site of the old station there. You can see the space for the old station there. You can see the buildings for Fordham Plaza in the distance. The round top building is right in Fordham Plaza. Next. This is north from East 180th Street. Don't ask how I got these shots.
What you got for that?
With a pogo stick. Next. Well, you can see where that is. This is 179th Street and Park Avenue. You get cheap real estate on Park Avenue. Next. This is from this. That's also from 179th Street. Next. This is actually at a station, Tremont. It's looking to the northeast. It's a northbound Harlem line train. Next. And that's looking south from the Tremont station. That's a northbound New Haven train. Next. This is from 175th Street, looking north, northbound New Haven local, going to Stamford. Next. That's looking south from 175th Street, and that's the Cross Bronx Expressway up above. Next. This is looking north from 169th Street. That's the Grand Central bound New Haven train. Now we're getting to more heavily populated areas. Next. And that's a southbound train of M3s at 169th Street. To be replaced by the M9s at some point in the near future, or not so near future. Next. This is looking south from 165th Street. That's the Melrose Station in the distance. Now let's go to the same place, but about 25 years ago, and in the morning. Next. That's a northbound train in the morning. We're standing on most of the shots you've seen were from the western side of the tracks. This is from the eastern side of the tracks. You're standing on Webster Avenue looking south. Next. And this is entering the Melrose Station. Actually, that's going north. In the afternoon rush, they use the 3 easterly tracks to go north, and the close track, which you can't really see, it's obstructed by the brush and the weeds. That's the southbound local. Next. Northbound train going to either Passaic or Danbury there. Next. And one of the last trains there were only about 3 trains of M4s. I saw no M6s on this day, but there were about 3 trains of M4s. This is 8911. Next. This is March 9th, 2013. That's a southbound train. I'm standing on the northbound platform at Melrose. As you can see, there's still some interesting architecture in the Bronx. Next. And this is at Mott Haven. That's a northbound train. That's actually going to the Hudson line. The Harlem and New Haven tracks go off to the right. The gray building in the background, that's the Bronx GPO, and the beige building is Carlton Hayes High School. That's where Glenn Smith graduated from.
Ray Bergen.
And Ray Bergen.
Yeah.
Next. And some current events in 2014. This is Fonda, New York. These are, at the time, these were Canadian Pacific's newest locomotives. These were delivered in 2012. They're ES44 ACs. Next. And that's a 2013 built ES44 AC in Conrail colors, CSX colors. And while we're here, the politicians from the town of Fonda came up and had a few words with me, and they were asking what I was doing and how they could get rail fans to spend more money in the town. Right? And I told them basically to put up a rail platform, and I told them to look up Folkestone, Georgia, and a few other places where they have rail platforms. So if there's ever a rail platform in Fonda, you just send your thank yous to me.
They'll do that in upstate. Trust me, they'll do anything for business.
I was talking with this guy. He was like one of the town council members or something for about a half an hour, and I'm standing on town property here. Oh, it's not privately owned. Oh, okay. And so it's very doable for them to do it, to have that done. I told them to make sure it's on the south side of the tracks, because that's where the sun is most of the day, on the south side of the tracks. Next. Took a few road trips. This is out in Willard, Ohio. It's on the Vino main line, which got really very busy after the Conrail merger. This is on July 15, 2014. That's a 2007 built ES40 DC. Next. And while wandering around the River Line, I heard something very strange on the scanner. Engine 9998, and this is at Orangeburg, New York, and the CSX business train just happened to come through. That's ex-Amtrak number 280, built in April of '78. Next. And these are the individuals having some libations on the end, watching the tracks go by. This is August 18th, 2014. It's Monday. Next. Further north, Congers, New York. One of the stations that still exists on the old West Shore line. That's the ES44AH from 2008. And there's my rental on the left, that red car. Next. Set Oszustowicz, New York, with one of their 2013 units with a CN GE run through. Next. And at Highland, New York, this is an empty back in oil field oil train. This is runs empty going this way. If you see one of these trains running south, it's full of oil. There was just another big accident. I forget where it was.
West Virginia.
West Virginia, concerning one of these trains. But
What's that bridge?
in any case, this is the river line. That's the Mid-Hudson Bridge in the background. That's US 44 in New York State, Route 55 in the back. Second. Next. Me and Mary took a trip up to Mount Washington this past summer, and the first run every day is run by an old steam engine. It's the only run of the day that uses steam. Everything else is biodiesel. This is number 6. Second, this was built in 1883. It's the only one that's operational. Numbers 3, 6, and 10 are stored, but they are serviceable. So if anything happens to this engine and it breaks down, they can get one of the other 3 running. This is the second steepest rack railway in the world. The gradient is 37.41% and has maximum. The only place in the world with a higher gradient is on the Pilatus Railway in Switzerland. That's 48% maximum incline. And this uses the Marsh rack system. It's 3 miles long, built in 1868, 4 feet 8-inch gauge. Next. And here it is going up. Next. Next. If you've never ridden this, go do it. All right. Now, the thing about Mount Washington is the weather changes by the minute and by the second. This is, let's say, 9:43 a.m. Let's look at the shot at 9:44 a.m. And the clouds, you're literally in the clouds. And when a cloud rolls in, you're in it. That last shot, you were in the clouds. Next. And they got 6 of these biodiesels, next train up, and everything else for the rest of the day are these. This particular one was built in 2009. It's the M2, it's the Algonquin. M1 was built in 2008. The last one was built in M5 in 2013, and they have 7 wooden coaches. Next. And while we were up there, we visited the Conway Scenic Railroad. This engine was donated to the railroad by Guilford, now Pan Am Railways. This is former Maine Central 252. It was built in November '66. It's a Jeep 38. And let's take a look at it in 1999 in Wells, Maine, when it was running on Guilford. Next. And that's the same engine there. Next. The Pan Am Railways system, formerly Guilford, it's a fascinating little operation, and it's very interesting to photograph. Back in the 90s, it used to run at 10 to 15 miles an hour, so you can chase trains all over the place. But now they've started to rebuild a lot of the track due to Amtrak, due to Norfolk Southern, and it's getting harder to chase. But these are the ex-Canadian National engines. They have 20 of these. Next. That was at Northern Maine Junction. This is at Old Town, Maine. This is June 10th, 2014. That's XCN 9665. This is the newest engine they have, basically on the of these. Next. Deep 40s. And this is what they used to look like. This is at Hem Street Park, New York, May 5th, 01, not far from the New York State border. Next. All right, back to Germany. Welcome to Boppard. It's B-O-P-P-A-R-D. It's on the west side of the Rhine River, between Koblenz and Mainz. And interesting. First time I was here was back in 2000 with a car, photographing mainly the freight trains. On the east side of there's also a railroad on the east side of the Rhine, but this is the busier side with more passenger trains and more freight trains. Anyway, that's a 101 class. These were built from 1996 to 1999 by Antrans, now Bombardier. 145 of these are produced. These are pretty much ALP 46s. They're capable of 136 miles an hour. These particular engines are not dual voltage, so they can only run within Germany. They're 15 kilovolt. Next. Also in Beaupard, that's southbound BLS cargo. It's the Bern Lochsburg Simplon Railway. It's created in 2006. It works with DB Rail Iron. It's the main. It's now DB Schenker. That's the main freight railroad in Germany. This particular engine is part of the international exchange pool. Next. This is Rennis Venero. They got a contract in December of '09, basically on the Hunsbrook line. It runs from Beaupard to Emmelshausen, and they have 3 Stadler Regio shuttles. This is one of them here. Originally, these were built by Antrans, but when Bombardier took it over, they had to sell this portion for monopoly purposes to Stadler. So they build these now, not Bombardier. Next. This is a central part of Beaupard. It's a nice little touristy place to visit. Next. Another one of those East German engines. They use them on the regional trains. That's going to Koblenz, towards Koblenz. Next. Transregio, basically the Middle Rheinbahn or Middle Rhine Railroad. These are actually leased from Angel Trains. Angel Trains is a train leasing company based in London, but they do business all over Europe. These are Siemens Desiro and EMUs. These are electric. Next. And this 185 class locomotive, it's the 146 class, the 101 class, they all look familiar. They all look similar. They're built on the Bombardier Trax platform. They're dual voltage, 15 kilovolts, 25 kilovolts. And TRAX, which is TRAXX, stands for Transnational Railway Applications with Extreme Flexibility. So basically all the engines, all the locomotives that look like this are in the Bombardier Trax group of locomotives. Next. This is another nice town. It's called Bacharach. It's south of Beaupard. It's halfway between Beaupard and Mainz. This is Crossrail. Crossrail is basically like Conrail. It was the combination of 7 freight companies. Their main office is in Basel. Their locomotives are dual voltage, 15 kilovolt, 25 kilovolt. That's basically the story with Crossrail, and here's a southbound freight train coming down the west side of the Rhine. Next. That's Bacharach. It's a nice place to visit. Interesting places to walk around, all nice little alleys and old